All right, in my journey, what did I do? So I had all these people, they were out there and they needed to connect. So I was limited with the tools I could use. Being a government organisation, being the IRS equivalent, very highly sensitive data. So I had to manage with what I had. So I came across and developed a wiki. And I can't show you what they look like because due to security and secrecy, I can't actually show the pictures of those things. Otherwise, I'd be in a penitentiary somewhere. But I used the wiki. If you don't know what a wiki is, that's the Wikipedia definition of a wiki. But a wiki, what I did is I created a wiki. So I put in categories in that wiki for them, the tools they could use. I also put in categories of identifying people. So I asked people to contribute to the wiki of the skills they had. So we had a list of people, the kind of skills they had, and what they were able to assist others with. So a list of people. But the one key thing I also did was I created a book of the week, some content for them to read, or a blog of the week. So I would pull in, and unfortunately I had to do this because we couldn't access blogs. I would go home at night, find a couple of blogs, I would copy and paste them into a Word document, send them in an email to myself, go in the next morning, put it on the... So that's the only way I could do it because we didn't have access to blogs, or we didn't have access to YouTube. But I continued to create the content. And the way you'll keep enterprise social networks and social learning going is fresh, new content. And that's why I showed you curation and those tools. Because content is what gets people coming back. Integrating, communicating, sharing is what people are going to continue to want out of a social learning framework, or sorry, a system. So it was a wiki, and the book of the week was so popular that they were craving for more. So what I did with the book of the week, I linked it into our library services who had the online version of the book. So I had the book, I would give a little review of the book, I'll give a summary, review a summary, have the link, they would go there, they can download it onto their machine, read it at lunchtime, whenever they had a bit of time, they can read it, have a look at it. And that was refreshed every week, and so was the blogs and so forth. So that's what I did. What I also did is, for the first time in the organisation where I was, I created a blog facility as part of that wiki. So people were then able to communicate with each other on various issues. So for example, someone was undertaking a new leadership program. Hey guys, I've been asked by the business to do a new leadership program in Sydney. We're looking at 50 people at the executive level who want hands-on, formal type of training, and also some experiential. So they would go on there, they'd write it out. Someone in Albury or someone in Perth would say, hey, I just did something similar over here. Or I did this 6 months ago. Here's what I did, here's my process, have a look at that. They would start sharing, they would start interacting, they were starting to communicate. And what it also did, it started to identify the go-to people in the organisation, the ones that had that knowledge on leadership development, the ones that had knowledge on project management and other subject matter areas. So by having a blog facility, they were able to interact, identify and communicate with each other. But I had a challenge. These people didn't know what blogging was about. So how do I get them to blog? Again, my champions. I went to my exec, I said, listen, you've got to get on there and blog. Why? I said, people want to hear from you. Yeah, you communicate with them on an email basis every week. Why don't you use this facility to communicate with them? And talk to them about what are your visions for the future for the L&D department. Where are we heading? How are we linking in with the broader outcomes and goals? I loved it. Save them doing a newsletter. They can just sit there at night, type in the blog. And what we found is, because they were no longer communicating via newsletter and they were using the blog, people started coming to the blog. So that's how you change culture. If one part of the communication chain is stopped and it moves to some other platform, you get people coming to that platform. And people started realising, if I want to know what's happening in my department, in my area, I need to go into this blog. And then they got the encouragement to start responding to the exec. And the exec goes, wow, I'm getting some intelligence here I wasn't getting before. Because with a newsletter, they just send an email and formal. This became very much an informal communication process. So they would respond to the exec and say, hey, thanks for this update. What about this? Great idea. So the communication would go back and forth. And by the time we knew it, the blog was exploding because people were communicating, interacting with each other. But what was the main important thing? Getting those senior people to get on there and use that particular platform. So the moral of the story is, if you can target those people, get them on there, get them communicating, you will go a long way in succeeding in any initiative you undertake. Social learning requires effort. I took a lot of it on board in the roles I played, but there's 3 or 4 key roles you need to establish in order to make social learning successful. And again, I don't believe in recreating the wheel. I curate a lot. I found this great document, and the link is there, about the type of roles you can have as part of your social learning deployment. People like consultants, They'll give people, give employees expert advice on how social learning can be most effective. So they're the people that go to your champions and say, what's your pain at the moment? What are you experiencing? What is something you want to alleviate? What is something I can help you with? They'll go out there and consult and identify where social learning can take place across the business and help individuals and teams articulate their objectives. So a consultant plays that broader role. How are we going for time? Yeah, we're all right, yep. Change agent. They're the people that are going to influence others in your organisation in what social learning is all about. So change agent helps to bring about change, usually by communicating and reducing the resistance. So they actually go and put out the fires for you. If someone's dissing social learning, your platform, and not really happy about it, they'll go out there and start talking to them and start playing that role, influencing, advocating. Like it says here, inform people so they understand what social learning is. People are fearful. They hear social and think, what is this all about? So they go out there and start talking it up a bit. They ensure people understand how learning is facilitated. A change agent and a consultant could probably be one and the same. You'd probably, if you can't afford to have two different roles, you could probably play that role together. The key one is this, the content curator. The person who's going to be able to identify the right content for your needs and add value to it for your particular social learning platform. They need to be aware of trends in the relevant space, make sense of the content, keep the content as being curator relevant, know the interests, passions of the community. They need to have their finger on the pulse because they're the ones who are going to be creating the content, as well as that supporting user-generated content. But they are key to your social learning initiative. And the last one is a community manager. Call it a moderator, someone who keeps things in control. I don't know if you know about Facebook. They've got Facebook rules. Hey guys, please don't post this or that. Let's be mindful of other people, respect each other. Again, this one can probably be morphed into some of the other roles we talked about. But in my view, you definitely need a consultant change person. You definitely need a content curator. And the community manager, like I said, could be someone who does it once a week, just goes in there, be active in the community for help. People don't know how to access it. I lost my login. How do I find this thread? I saw something a while ago. Can you help me find it? That sort of help desk support. But key roles that needed to be established as part of your social learning initiative. And what happens when you start developing a social learning initiative and you start collaborating, interacting? You start seeing this happening. You start seeing personal learning networks spread up. You start seeing people connecting, and they call it PLNs, or personal learning networks. And again, I love my Wordles, as you can see. What comes up when you do a Wordle on personal learning network? You see conversations, you see collaboration, you see advice, and that's the word I like a lot, connected. People start becoming connected. They know who's who. They know where to go to. Easier, more effectively and more efficiently than having to look at a telephone directory or look at the latest directory online to see who I can go to find someone. It starts creating that connectedness around the organisation. But how do you create and nurture a personal learning network? Again, this one's by Howard. This is a really good diagram. So you can work this in a linear way, you can work it in a lot of ways you want. But finding, exploring people, searching them, following them. The way I follow people is I see who they're connected with, what kind of content they're sending out, what kind of conversations they're having either on Twitter or on LinkedIn. I'll follow them. But when I do follow them, I also feed that network by responding. Hey, great share. Thanks for this. This is really good information. It's responding. And that's engaging with them, but then also inquiring. Thanks for this particular item. Are you able to tell me more about it? Here's my email address. Engage them. And people love being engaged. As an LD community, I'm so surprised how engaging and how people are willing to share amongst each other. It is just, especially I said on Twitter, I don't Google anymore, I just Twitter. I get a lot of my information off Twitter, whether I have an issue or something I'm contemplating to do, or I'm going to look at a particular item or project, I'll go on Twitter, I'll put it out there, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 days, I'll get some responses. It's a leading to somewhere else. But again, you need to inquire and respond. So as you ask questions, if you can add value to someone else and they say, I need help with this, and you can add value, you respond. And that's how you create that personal learning network. And over time, you'll find that network explodes. And you'll start having people you can tap into at a tap of your fingers, and you'll get responses that you just be amazed at. It really is an amazing world out there. And like I said, it's changed my way and approach to everything I do. But personal learning networks are going to be key to you, but also as part of the social learning intervention, when you start curating some content, people interacting with each other, they start connecting with each other, they start supporting each other. And then as L&D, you don't have to really worry about the next program you're going to be putting in, because these people are connected, they're learning from each other. You don't have to worry about the next product you have to develop, because a lot of it's going to be generated via these networks for you.